17 years ago, when the government of India set up a committee under my chairmanship. This particular Mashilkar committee, and there have been 12 such committees by the way, in different subjects, was asked to look at 19 regional engineering colleges, RECs, in India that existed. It was asked to review the performance of these RECs and also make recommendations so that they could move into much higher orbits of performance and delivery. It was this Mashilkar committee that recommended the conversion of regional engineering colleges into National Institutes of Technology. And it was not just the change of name, by the way, from RECs to NITs. It was a change of fundamentals, from funding to governance. This involved moving the funding from the states to the center, changing the constitution of the Board of Governors, the governance structure, upgradation of infrastructure, like the one that you are seeing now, and several other measures so that you could be provided with full autonomy, full flexibility, and full freedom. The idea was to lift these institutions to a much higher level. I'm so happy that at the dawn of the 21st century, these recommendations were accepted fully by the central government and NITs were formed. You might ask as to what prompted the Mashilkar committee to recommend the elevation of RECs to NITs 17 years ago. We found that from around 200,000 students who annually appeared for the IIT entrance exams during those years, only around 2,000 of them got in, 1 out of 100. But for those 2,000 students who got in, we found that there were maybe 20,000 who appeared for these exams who were almost as good. They were left out, and where would they go? They all went to regional engineering colleges, government engineering colleges, and so on. So our committee had wide-ranging consultations with several stakeholders, including the companies that employed these REC graduates. And we found that the contributions that were made by the graduates of RECs to national programs such as space, defense, atomic energy, private sector industry, public sector industry were truly outstanding. At National Chemical Laboratory, I had the specific experience of having students from regional engineering colleges to do PhD under my supervision. And I found them to be as good as those who came from the IIT system, and in fact sometimes even better. For instance, Ravindranath, who came from the REC at Warangal, did work on modeling and simulation of polyester reactors as a part of his PhD project, and it became the last word in this field globally. In fact, I myself won the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize in 1982 on the strength of that work done by that young REC students, Ravindranath. Ravindranath's work is being used all over the world today. So I was delighted that full justice was done to these high quality REC students by the government of India in accepting the 1998 Mashilkar Committee recommendations and then creating NITs, and we are seeing now one of the best NITs up here in the form of MNIT. It was, by the way, also a privilege for me to chair the NIT Council for 3 years and see the remarkable progress that NITs were making. Now, let me turn to what is dear to my heart. Two things: education in our future and also future of education. You might ask, what is the most powerful equation in the world? There was a discussion in the scientific community. Some said it is F equal to ma, Newton's law, force equal to mass into acceleration. Somebody else said, no, it is Einstein's equation, E equal to mc square. E is energy, m is mass, c is velocity of light. I was keeping quiet. Somebody came and asked me, but you are not spoken, what do you think is the most powerful equation? I said, not Newton, not Einstein. It is E equal to F. They said, what is E? What is F? I said, E is education and F is future. Education is equal to future. No education, no future for the individual, for the society, for the nation. In the same way, innovation is driving our future. Therefore, European Union calls itself not European Union, Innovation Union. That is why 2015 is the year of innovation for Switzerland. That's why India has declared 2010-20 as the Indian Decade of Innovation. President Obama had famously said, education and innovation are the currencies in the 21st century. I'll go even further and say education in innovation and innovation in education are the dire needs of the hour. World-class universities of the future will be those who will excel in achieving these twin goals. MNIT must have the dream to become a world-class institution. And all world-class institutions have a seamless integration of education, research, and innovation. Education disseminates known knowledge. Research creates new knowledge. Innovation converts knowledge into wealth and social good. Let me elaborate. The Vice Chancellor of Cambridge University, Sir Leszek Borowskiewicz, has created what he calls as a circle of advisors. I happen to be one of the members of this circle of advisors. Ratan Tata also happens to be a member. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw also happens to be a member. And in this very first presentation, which took place 2 years ago, the Vice Chancellor told us that Cambridge University has won over 80 Nobel Prizes, one university. At the same time, it has 15,000 startups, creating 450,000 jobs with at least 5 companies with revenues of $1 billion plus each. And therefore, Professor Bhatt, I was very happy when you talked about entrepreneurship and the startup culture that you are trying to build. Our Honorable Prime Minister has already talked about Startup India, and I'm very happy to see that India has become the 3rd fastest growing startup nation in the whole world, and I want to see that MNIT plays a very major leading role in this. So coming back to Cambridge University, you can see here a powerful example of seamless integration of education, research and innovation. MNIT should have the dream of achieving such beautiful confluence of what I like to call as Saraswati on one hand and Lakshmi on the other hand. Because we do Saraswati Puja on one day and Lakshmi Puja on the other day, right? We don't collect Saraswati and Lakshmi. Road from Saraswati to Lakshmi is what we need to actually find out. Let's come to the 3 pillars. President of India has repeatedly expressed a concern that our universities and educational institutions do not figure in the top 100 in the world. In every single address that he has given, he has sort of repeatedly mentioned that. Why is it so? On the other hand, no matter what indicators, because you know many times we take an excuse, Arey Baba, they are using some indicators by which we don't fit in. But no matter what indicators are used and by whom, Harvard University always occupies the first place. Right? Why? Since 2007, I have been having a brief stint at Harvard University. I spent my October as a distinguished visiting professor almost every year. Last year I could not. George Whitesides in Harvard University is a close friend of mine. He is the highest cited living scientist in the world today. His H index is a staggering 176. By the way, the highest in India, the best scientist of India has 106. He is 176. So you can see how tall he is. This means George Whiteside has scaled the highest peaks of excellence in fundamental scientific research. But at the same time, he has founded companies based on his research in Harvard. The market capitalization of the companies that he has floated is more than $30 billion US. Each billion is today 6,600 crore. Multiply this by 30 and you can see. All right. So here is Saraswati, here is Lakshmi. Highest H index, highest scientific research, excellence, and at the same time highest wealth creation. I think that has to be the model. So the first is the single-minded pursuit of excellence. And excellence has to be both in teaching and in research. The second is the unflinching commitment to true institutional autonomy without even a trace of political interference whatsoever. That's very critical. Third pillar is a world-class governance. which provides an unshakable and robust foundation leading to a long-term stability and sustainability of the institution. Okay? So excellence, autonomy, and world-class governance. These are the three pillars on which great institutions are built. Let me elaborate further. Let's come to excellence. There's a growing realization that mere teaching without research is sterile. So there has to be an absolute uncompromising pursuit of excellence, both in teaching and research. This means getting the very best faculty, not the second best. This also means getting the very best students, not the second best. Excellence in teaching is vitally important. When knowledge is known to double up every 5 years, our curricula cannot continue to remain the same. Our methods of delivery, the chalk and talk, cannot just continue, as infinite possibilities open up due to the advance of technology, especially the digital learning and so on. One often complains about the tyranny of large numbers in India, but taking recourse to new technology can make a difference to the challenge of both numbers as well as the challenge of distance. Our methods of assessment are based on rewarding selective and uncritical rote learning rather than analytical abilities and creative thinking. All these and more need to be changed by an aggressive recourse to disruptive and game-changing innovation in education, and I'm sure this must be happening in MNIT. Excellence in research means there has to be a continuous thrust on not only working at the frontiers of research, but creating new frontiers. No use working on graphene. Our research has to lead to discovery of graphene, all right? Creating new frontiers. This means an aggressive and relentless thrust on saying the first word in science or the last word in science, and on doing research that will lead and not follow. For too long we have been happy with being first in India. We'll say first in Jaipur, first in Rajasthan, first in Maharashtra, first in Mumbai, first in India. No. Only the global first matters, basically. And we have to learn to be a leader rather than a follower in research. The second is autonomy. Autonomy, to me, is the lifeline of an academic institution. The Kothari Commission 1966 was eloquent in stating the role of university autonomy. Almost 50 years ago. It said, only an autonomous institution, free from regimentation of ideas, free from pressure of party, free from power politics, can pursue truth fearlessly and build up in its teachers and students habits of independent thinking and spirit of inquiry, unfettered by the limitations and prejudices of the near and immediate, which is so essential for the development of a free society. The autonomy must flow across the university, from teachers to students. The teacher should have a complete autonomy to design and deliver his course and also the assessment. Similarly, the students should be allowed to take courses of their choice in different disciplines and different universities. They can be awarded a degree on the basis of the credits that they have earned. For this, a flexible credit-based modular curriculum should be created. It should be harmonized across colleges and later perhaps across universities. Students should have the choices of subjects, of teachers, of colleges. Autonomy of the university system is so important that it continues to be discussed and debated even today in Europe, which has had a rich history of academic excellence for centuries. For example, the national strategic priorities for higher education were the object of law passed in France as recently as August 2007. They were referred to as University Autonomy Law. They provided the universities with a new system of governance and real autonomy in terms of their budgets and human resource management. Universities were allowed to create university foundations or even partnerships with companies, public-private partnership, we were talking about it a little earlier. And this is being done elsewhere in Europe. For example, in Finland, since 2007, each university can have a legal status of a foundation, thereby increasing their financial autonomy. Finally, governance. Let's look at governance now. The governance structure of a university has not changed with changing times. Rules of yesteryears that were framed in a different context continue as such. Context decides the content. When the context changes, the content has to change. Unfortunately, that has not happened. Centralization of decision making with ineffective participation and contribution by faculty and students has created a situation that is far removed from the much desired process of collegial consensus making. Governance focuses on the rules and mechanisms